Mana ye Wanlu TV. Ngejmati Kigalwang. Yub matie kabino. La kelia ye.
Tom International Distributors Limited wacharje mi maruam gila mal metiji ganki poro nyonyo magi duju ruam gitila mal benda gitiyu mabe wanongei Old Kampala Rashid Kemis Road Mukwano Mall.
Sam's Crisip oberongira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jemi pa Sam's timapo likine obero Crisps melayata, Crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kemukene mapola ta. Nong jemi pa Sam's snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman.
Ajoli metikaneno Wanlu TV udirumatin anya Pat Robert Larobi ketmo beru ko chengui I programme Rupiny Tin udirumatin iwa yom total watiki guest studio ma wainero je mogo matika bino totale ilokum to slim maknero under the association me NAFOPHANU ngo magitimo giberu ko gitimo girango weng kelo ilorangea mo watika kile kanyo udirumatin watiki guest studio, and this is a paid for talk show ma gen wajane pirtek mirgi bien gi nyak lokidano gi watch jima pigitego kono gi kelo niang mati bot in ki an mo bedu udiko in the program oye wera jol guest mamegwa ento gen mo la kay yetima nak way lok le mono may noni pol le peñ o bedu le mono kadon gi mo tiema no ne pirtek ator ye ci adwa bore we in bedu ki kero Minyang. I studio kan ateke advocacy lead mi NAFOPHANU man Mr. Raymond. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. And honestly, I had one lure and I was like, oh my goodness, how will I start? But nonetheless, I know the program maybe is recorded, not maybe, but I know it is recorded. And it can always be like, interpreted or in the law. My name is Raymond Kwesiga. I work with NAFOPHANU. NAFOPHANU is National Forum for People Living with HIV/AIDS Networks, Uganda. This is an umbrella organization that brings together networks of people living with HIV. It was established way back in 2003, and basically with the whole aim of advocating and ensuring that people living with HIV have healthy and productive life. So in my docket, I really amplify that whole vision of seeing a productive community of people living with HIV who are healthy and who are productive.
That is quite a brief and interesting information. Kaiti nero Wanlu TV watika ugemo watika logone kan NAFOPHANU tie an association makero kara chel jema tiki per matero tero tutwale lokum to jonyo kitma imunyi Raymond owaje kwede gena pere tek momiro genen gitin ni advocates ma megitie ni ko padano ke lawo kening yo minene they are still productive be productive yani tuo romo bedo tie and no furi romo temo gi mo milako ko ma megi keni, and that's where the productivity comes ni pide ni ano pato temo gi mo. No, get to your feet, take your medication, do the right thing. Kita no gen kitika fwenyi kweli ni, then you get to your productivity ni you are able to do something for this country, and that is the aim goal magen genero. Now Raymond, when we are coming here this morning, we ask ourselves, apart from just saying NAFOPHANU is focused on advocacy and other services, people just want to know, what are these other services that you do, probably out of the care, out of the advocacy? What is these other things that NAFOPHANU is doing?
Okay, out of the care, out of the advocacy. Our biggest niche is basically looking at the community. Now, going beyond HIV or care, We know that if you're having a community which is not working, which is filled with poverty, then that is also one thing. So we empower our community to see that they work and they are productive, to see that they also engage in government programs. We are having a Myoga, we are having quite a number of government. Yes, we are having quite a number of government programs. So encouraging people living with HIV to wholeheartedly be in the government programs. So two, when a person is healthy, they are able to do many other things. Engage in politics. We have quite a number of people who are in politics, who have gone to compete for member of parliament, and they've won. We have some of our colleagues who are heads at the districts. So, you know, that is way beyond the actual medication. But what is very important is when we talk about treatment, when we talk about care, when we talk about adherence, we know that at the end of it all, this individual will be healthy and they will be able to do many other things. So that empowerment bit. And we are also implementing a number of programs in the different districts. We really thank Aga Khan and Aga Khan Foundation, and you know, of late we were distributing food. You know, during COVID, people were given food and so that they don't die of hunger during that period. And even up to now, we still give food relief through our partners who give funds. Yeah.
And taking you back briefly, this is a conversation.
Yes.
I want my viewers to understand. When we are seeing people being empowered, mentored and supported to join politics, mentored, supported to embrace government programs in terms of wealth creation and trying to work for themselves. Yeah. We are looking at scenarios like people taking up a Myoga, PDM, and because the latest is PDM. What was the variance? What was it before and then?
You know, as a result of stigma and discrimination, you realize that many people living with HIV don't want to even hear anything related to HIV. So that attitude, that fear that, hey, when they get to know me, I think I'm no longer productive. So that sense of feeling you are not productive, you can't do much, you can't go in public, and you feel like, I should not be part. It has been happening, you know, in the past. But now we are seeing many of our colleagues, as we are empowering a number, many are coming out and many are standing, and I believe even on social media you see young people come out and say, yeah, I'm a person living with HIV, I'm productive and I'm ready to move. And we are also seeing our young people from the Uganda network of young people living with HIV, they are having beauty pageant, and we are having all sorts of regional representation. And this is the whole thing now we are doing. Again, when we go back at our different district level, we are having forums actually across the country in all districts with the structures. And they sit at the district. So that sort of empowerment and also the inclusion from the government side, from the local government, and recognizing that the community of people living with HIV is very important. So we have representation there. You know, we have the district AIDS committees, and we have you know, a person living with HIV or people living with HIV on that committee.
There's one question that comes up. Somebody will be sitting there if the people in Kampala are more empowered, because I come from a situation where I have been a peer educator, and from peer educating I am more sensitive about my community, my environment, and I am thinking about my brother in Gulu who is not very assertive, necessarily not aggressive, neither assertive. They are just there, unbalanced and not decided. Now, how are we helping rural kids adapt to the concept of self-realization? Because once you realize, and then you're able to get out. I don't know if your program as an advocate or advocacy officer, you're tapping into the potential of the young people at grassroots level to also get up, speak up, because that is one way to solve the stigma.
That's a good one. Remember, networking and partnerships are very critical. We can't say that we can do it all, but through our partnership and networking with the different partners, so we realize that we also tap into the opportunities that are within those organizations. Now, like I was mentioning, we have district structures, and the structures go up to village level. The district, the sub-county, and also the village. And through those structures, and we do the advocacy, we do the empowerment, because we have our coordinators at all districts. Actually, in all districts, we have coordinators who support the secretariat in doing the advocacy. And also, again, linking with the local civil society organizations, with the local partners, and so on. Let me give an example of, you gave an example of Gulu, let me also give Gulu as an example. In Gulu, we have an implementing partner who is TASO. And we are co-implementing a program on treatment literacy. Now, treatment literacy is basically community-led. It's peer-led. It's a person living with HIV reaching out to a person living with HIV. So like I said, those go up to the village level because they know their colleagues better. And that's why, in the topic that we were given to discuss on advanced HIV disease, this is very critical. Relating it with the structures I'm talking about and how that person deep in the village is supported. I agree with you very much that many of the things are in the central, are in Kampala, in the city, and we cannot assess a program in the town. But we have to look at the rural areas, and those, because they are also part of the population. And now NAFOPHANU, knowing that the rural is a part of the population and is a community, we work with the structures that are within the districts. We don't work in isolation.
My guest in the studio, man, Mr. Raymond Matika Aki NAFOPHANU. NAFOPHANU ginero ni gikonyo dano matiki tuo jonyo. Mineno kit magen gidor kwede poma megi. Mo cha lokany no tika yapo wiye makloni preamble into our discussion. Mineno tuo ticketing. Tini wamirlokum advanced HIV. And so before we start into the topic, wacha oneno the preliminary motika penye wachini peotikwe. Gen ma kwanya ki bod Raymond tika wachini Paul Kare dano tie magetiki tuo. Ento pege miaro mwenyune ni program mono karo tiki tuo. Because they feel they cannot be excluded, or they want to stand alone in the crowd. So for them as an entity, supporting again, or we are getting embracing programs pagamente. Gitika Fonyogima Bay, we are good on your politics. They have representative. Gitika Fonyogima Bay, you embracing program pagamente, PDM, Mioga. Mano Gitika Nomochiane, Bene Ie. This is the one question that is going to take us into our discussion this morning.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about the 90-90-90 policy, 90 must test, 90 must enroll, get medication. Once you're on medication, the 90 must make sure that they keep in with the rules of the game, adherence, which you said here. Are we achieving anything there? That will take us to our discussion.
Wow. That's a good one, 90-90-90, but now there are new targets.
Good.
Again, we have the 95, 95, 95.
Oh.
So the first 95 is to ensure that all people who know that their HIV status. Those living with HIV know their
status.
HIV status.
Go test.
Those living with HIV know their HIV status. Remember, there are those who are living with the virus, but they don't know that they are living with the virus.
Yes.
The second 95, to ensure that those who know their HIV status are on treatment. And that is optimal ARVs. And the third one, the 95, is those who are on treatment should be virally suppressed. Viral suppression, basically taking your medication well, and now the virus reaches undetectable levels. And we know if it is undetectable, no passing on the virus to others. Are we seeing ourselves there? The answer can be a yes and a no.
Okay.
It can be a yes and a no. And maybe another one will be a somehow.
Okay.
Now, to begin with, I can say yes, because we are having now commitment from the different partners in regards to, HIV prevention, care, and treatment. And we are also seeing Ministry of Health trying her level best. I'm calling her because I think Ministry is the mother. Trying her level best to see that HIV care across the country is at par. But one other worrying thing is we've not seen commitment from now the political wing, from now the government side. In other words, I'm not saying that Ministry of Health is not government, but I'm saying ministry as ministry is trying her level best. But now when we come to this other wing, we are seeing less of a budget,
constraint.
And there's no budget per se which is meant for the HIV care. The budget that we last had was 1% allocated to HIV specifically.
Raymond, let's forget about that.
So
it's becoming to.
That's why we are also imploring. Some time back, we had an interaction with Parliament of Uganda, the HIV committee. So, and we were telling them that what, you officiated the AIDS Trust Fund, but nothing is coming into the AIDS Trust Fund. So we feel that the AIDS Trust Fund should be, one, popularized, and it should be funded. So there should be government commitment. I know government is also constrained, resources here and there. But again, we feel that HIV should be a priority, and budget should be added more. I know also the president is doing much through the Uganda AIDS Commission. We are not saying that there's nothing totally that has been done.
Okay.
But in the 95, I know we are somewhere because of the commitment from the donors and also the in-country commitment to see that we empower networks of people living with HIV to further support in reaching their communities.
Chikema diet pa NAFOPHANU minne neke jogo tuo jonyo tie in 90 anangeyo ni 90 policy 91 dek ato according to Raymond 90 ulake dongo dongo 95 now as new target niki wachini dano piara bon when we are beach ko mia chel no mergu chet gunge nigi kero yot committee kining ka ini chere pimme engeyu onyobene kano ini nge ni tikituo it chako gwake kining that's the 95 mia rio chini ka ini tikin jo piara bon ko mia chel ini ko piara bon number rio ni the second 90 mirnene ichako monyo yati ichak ilup kita notingo tie kwede mero 90 mia deke the third one ni kaiti komia chiel dano pier bungwen we beach mirgo beta monyo yat kit madakta waju kwede we nek level pakwiti makaloni virus suppression manyote ka virus have been suppressed transmission your kobo patuo dong berupe and that is a new target takes us to our topic. Where now do we have this issue of advanced HIV?
Wow. Yeah, this is very, very important. You know, truth be told is that we are having very effective medicines now. The ARVs which we are having, apparently, they are very effective, they are very good. And people are getting better. And now when people start getting better, they forget where they probably came from. Now talking about those who had ill health previously, they completely forget maybe that they had ill health previously. And also these other ones forget that they've ever seen a person who was in the AIDS state. Now the taking of the medication begins to be a problem. So advanced HIV disease, let us define it in a layman's language.
Is like, what is advanced?
Yeah, advanced. So people should not worry and say that HIV has grown or has overgrown. No. So advanced HIV disease for children and adults, for adults and children who are above 5 years, above 5 years,
yeah.
And also adolescents. It means CD4 count less than 200 cells. CD4, basically, let's call them our soldiers, the ones that help in defending us from infections. That's, in simple language, let us call it our immunity. If your immunity becomes so compromised and your soldiers have reached 200 or even less, we say, this person is having advanced HIV disease. Why? Because he or she is at a higher risk of getting complications. Complications including diseases like TB, cryptococcal meningitis. There's also that disease that affects the brain, cryptococcal meningitis, and many other severe bacterial infections. Not forgetting PCP, which in a layman's language, which we call pneumonia. It affects the chest. I said advanced HIV disease in layman's language, it is when your CD4s have fallen down below 200.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. We will get back to that. We go for a short commercial break, and then we return. We proceed with the program. Watikalokom advanced HIV/AIDS. Kasi difuni oporo la pain tuo maramu makte bereduang. It's not about saying the advanced because AIDS has got another class, but it is advanced because matafali kumi, the cells which protects you are less to fight the other diseases. In case of anything, Perombertier, Wadugu, Wametiki Kenyo.
Yub Matia Kabino, La Kelia ye.
TomTom International Distributors Limited. Wacharje mi maruam gila mal metiji ganki poro. Nyonyo magi duju ruam gitila mal benda gitiyu mabe. Wanongei Old Kampala, Rashid Kemis Road, Mukwano Mall.
Sam's Crisip oberongira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jami pa Sam's timapo likine obero Crisps melayata, Crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kemukene mapola ta. Nong jami pa Sam's Snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman.